pretty fast, Mr. Keel.
Eating don't get you anywhere, boy. Tell my daughter I went home.
All right.
Father, you're not going, are you?
Got all kinds of business to tend to.
You're only going to sit alone in your room, and you know it. Hey, Mr. Billings here, Mr. Hofstead's coming. It'll be interesting for you.
No, got all kinds of business to tend to. Besides, the only reason I came over was the butcher told me you bought roast beef today, and it was very tasty, dear.
Well, how don't you wait until Tom gets back? He just went for a little walk.
You suppose he'd mind if I grabbed a cigar?
Oh, no, help yourself. And take some apples. You should always keep some fruit in your room.
No, wouldn't think of it.
Why don't you move in with us, Father? I often wonder if you're eating.
I'm eating. Well,
That must be Mr. Hofstad.
Good evening, Catherine. How are you? Ah, Mr. Keel.
Your Honor?
Don't mind him. He's getting terribly old. Would you like to come in for some supper?
No thanks.
He just dropped by, Peter.
That's all right. I can't take hot food in the evening anyway. I'll stick to my tea and toast. Much healthier, more economical.
You make it sound like Tom and I just threw money away.
Oh, not you, Catherine. He wouldn't happen to be here, would he?
No, he just went for a little walk with the boys.
You don't think that's dangerous right after dinner? Ah, that sounds like my brother.
Tom, he hasn't knocked on the door for 10 years. Oh, Mr. Hofstad, come in.
Sorry I'm late, I was held up at the printing shop. Good evening, Your Honor.
Offset? On business, no doubt.
Partly, it's about an article for the paper.
Ah, I didn't doubt it. I understand my brother has become a very prolific contributor to your, what do you call it? The People's Daily Liberator?
The People's Daily Messenger, sir. The doctor sometimes honors the messenger when he wants to uncover the real truth of the subject.
Ah, true. Yes, I see.
Oh, Mr. Hofstad, would you like to?
I don't want you to think I blame the doctor for using your columns. After all, every performer goes to the audience that applauds him the most. It's really not your paper I have anything against, Mr.
Oh, I
Hofstad.
really didn't think so, Your Honor.
As a matter of fact, I happen to admire the spirit of tolerance in our town. It's magnificent. Just don't forget that we have it because we all believe in the same thing. It brings us together.
Kirsten Springs, you mean?
The Springs, Mr. Hofstad, our wonderful new Springs. They've changed the soul of this town. You mark my words, Kirsten Springs is going to put us on the map, and there's no doubt about it.
That's what Tom says, too.
Everything is shooting ahead. Real estate's going up, money's changing hands every hour, business is humming.
No more unemployment.
Right. Give us a real good summer, and sick people will be coming here in carloads. The Springs will be a regular fad, a new Carlsbad. And for once, the well-to-do people won't be the only ones paying taxes in this town.
I hear reservations are really starting to come in.
Coming in every day, looks very promising, very promising.
That's fine, and the doctor's article will come in handy.
Oh, he's written something again.
It's just something he wrote during the winter recommending the water. But at the time, I let the article lie.
Why, some hitch in it?
No, I thought it would have a bigger effect in the spring when people started planning for the summer.
Oh, that's smart, Mr. Offset, very smart.
Tom's always so full of ideas about the Springs. He always
Well,
says...
he ought to be. He gets his salary from the Springs, my dear.
Oh, I think it's more than that, don't you? Dr. Stockman created Kirsten Springs.
Oh, you don't say. I have been hearing that lately, but I didn't think I had a certain modest part.
Tom always says
I only meant that the original idea was his.
My good brother is never at a loss for ideas, all kinds of ideas, but when it comes to putting those ideas into action, you need another kind of man. I didn't think that at least people in
Peter,
this
we
house...
didn't mean to... Mr. Hofstad, why don't you get yourself a bite?
Thank you. Maybe just a little something.
Isn't it remarkable? Why is it that people without background can never learn tact?
Peter, why upset yourself? Why can't you share the honors with Tom like brothers.
The trouble is that certain men are never satisfied to share, Captain.
Nonsense, you and Tom have always got along beautifully. It's never a one-man team.
Hey, Captain, here's another guest for you. Go on in, boys. Kids must remember all over again.
But that was me.
Oh, that's fine. I do not wear overcoats. Oh, come on this way, Captain. I'd like to get you a look at this
Tom's
roast.
here.
Oh, Peter. Say, now it's really nice.
Off you go in a minute.
Oh, nonsense. Not with the toddy on the table. You haven't forgotten the toddy, have you, Captain?
Oh, of course not. I've got the water boiling.
Toddy too.
Sure, just sit down and make yourself at
Oh,
home.
no thanks. I don't go in for drinking parties.
Oh, but this is no party.
What else do you call it? It's amazing you people can consume all this food and live.
Why? What's finer than to watch young people eat? You know, Peter, those are the fellows that are going to stir up the whole future.
You don't say. What's there to stir up?
Oh, don't worry about that. They'll let us know when the time comes. Old idiots like you and me will be
Oh,
helping.
I've never been called that before.
Oh, don't jump on me every minute, will you, Peter? You know your trouble? Your impressions are blunted. You gotta sit up there in that crooked corner of the north like I did and then come back here. It's like watching the first 7 days of creation.
Here?
Things to work and fight for, Peter. Without that, you're dead. Catherine, are you sure the mailman came today?
There wasn't any mail today.
And another thing, Peter. Good income. Now that's something you learn to appreciate after you've lived on a starvation diet.
Oh, when did you start?
Damn near. It was pretty tough going a lot of the time out there, but now to live each and every day like a prince. Tonight, for instance, we had roast beef for dinner, and by God, there's enough for supper left over. Oh, please have a please come in.
Oh, no,
Oh,
certainly
please
not.
let me show it to you. Please come on in. We even have a tablecloth.
I saw it.
Live to the hilt, that's my motto. Anyway, Catherine says I'm earning almost as much as we spend.
Well, you're improving.
Why can't I give myself the pleasure of being surrounded by young, interesting people? You'll see, when Hofstede comes, we'll
Oh,
talk.
yes, Hofstede, that reminds me. You said something about printing one of your articles.
One of my articles?
Yes, an article you wrote in the winter recommending the springs.
Oh, that one. In the first place, I don't want that one printed right now.
No? Sounded to me as though it would be very timely.
Under normal conditions, maybe, sir.
Well, what's abnormal about the conditions now?
Oh, I can't say that for the moment, Peter, at least not tonight. There could be a great deal abnormal about conditions, and again, there could be nothing at all.
Well, you've managed to sound mysterious. Is something wrong? Something you're keeping from me? Because I wish once in a while you'd remind yourself that I am chairman of the board of the Springs, as well as
And
mayor.
I'd like you to remember that too, Peter. Now listen, let's not get into each other's hair.
For God's sake, no. I don't make it a habit in getting into people's hair. But I would like to underline that everything concerning Kirsten Springs must be treated in a business-like manner, through the proper channels and dealt with by the legally constituted authorities. I simply can't allow anything to go behind my back in a roundabout way.
When did I ever go behind your back, Peter?
You have an ingrained tendency to go your own way, Thomas, and that simply can't go in a well-organized society. The individual must really subordinate himself to the overall, or more accurately, to the authorities who are in charge of the general welfare.
Well, that's probably so, but how the hell does that concern me,
My
Peter?
dear Thomas, that is what you will never learn. But you'd better watch out, because someday you might pay dearly for it. Now I've said it, goodbye.
Are you out of your mind? You're absolutely on the wrong track.
Am I? I'm usually not. Anyway, may I be excused? Good night, Catherine. Good evening, gentlemen.
He left?
Yes, he did, and thoroughly burned up.
What do you do to him now?
What does he want from me? He can't expect me to give him an accounting of every move I make, every thought I think, until I'm ready to do it.
Why? What should you give him an accounting of?
Just leave that to me, Catherine. It's peculiar that the mailman didn't come today.
Mayor certainly wasn't in a going mood tonight.
Oh, it's his stomach. He has a lousy digestion.
Oh, I do think two letters from the people's message are going to help either.
No, it's just that Peter is a lonely man. Poor fellow, all he knows is official business and duties, and then there's all that weak tea that he pours into himself. Catherine, here we have the toddy. Sit down here on the sofa with me, Captain. A rare guest like you. Please sit down. Sit down, friends.
This house used to be so ugly. Suddenly it's beautiful.
Great man.
Oh. Here you are. Help yourselves.
Oh, we sure will. Go. Home. What an invention.
Are you sailing soon, Captain Worcester?
I plan to leave next week.
And then to America, Captain?
Yes, that's the plan.
Oh, then you won't be home for the new election.
If we're going to be in another election,
Well, don't you know?
I don't pay attention to those sorts of things.
But you are interested in public affairs, aren't you?
Frankly, I don't know a thing about them.
Don't know a thing about them. Well, what do you mean by that? You know, society, Captain, is like a ship. Every man should do something to help navigate the ship.
That may work well, I'm sure, but aboard a ship, it doesn't work out so well. Good evening.
Good evening, Petra.
Here you are, lying around like lizards while I'll slay you.
Well, you come and be a lizard too. You know, I look at her and I say to myself, how did I do it?
Great young woman. Shall we, Sultani?
Thank you, I better do it myself. Your voice makes it too strong. Oh, Father, I forgot I have a letter for you.
Who's it from?
I met the mailman on the way to school this morning. He gave me your mail.
And you don't give it to me till now?
I really didn't have enough time.
If
to
she
write
didn't
that.
have enough time.
Let's see it now. Come on, child.
Is that the letter you've been waiting for?
Yes, indeed. There wouldn't happen to be a light out of my room, would there?
The lamp's on the desk burning away.
Please excuse me for a moment.
What's that?
He's been asking about the mailman again and again.
Well, probably not a kind of patient face.
Poor father, he's got too much and too much to do. This ought to taste good.
By the way, what happened to that English novel you were going to translate for us?
I started to, but I got so busy.
Have you been teaching evening school again?
2 hours a night.
Oh, it's the high school every day.
Yes, 5 hours and every night of higher lessons to correct.
She never stops going.
Yes, that's why I always think of you as breathless and, well, just breathless.
I love it. I get so wonderfully tired.
Well, she looks tired.
You must be a wicked woman, Petra.
Wicked?
You work so much. My teacher says that working is punishment for our sins.
Believe that?
Scarlet, of course he believes his teacher.
Don't stop it.
Don't you like to work more than
Work? No.
And what will you ever amount to in this world?
Me?
I'm gonna be a Viking!
Yeah, get that heathen! So I'll be a heathen.
I think it's getting
I agree
late,
with you, Lauren. I
boys.
think
You
that-
certainly do not, Mr.
Oh, yes,
Billy.
by God, I do. I'm a real heathen and I'm proud. Oh, you'll see. I think pretty soon we're all going to be heathens.
And then we can do anything we want.
Right, you see more
Don't you
things.
have homework to do? Better go in and do it.
Well, can we just stay here a while?
No, neither of you. Now run along.
Alright, good night.
Good night. But I don't have any homework.
You don't really think it hurts to listen to such talk, do you?
I don't know, but I don't like it. Oh, Tom.
Boys, there is going to be news in this town.
What kind of
A
news?
thrilling discovery,
Really?
Captain.
That you made?
That I made. Now that the baboons running this town call me a lunatic, well, now they better watch out. Oh, how the mighty have fallen.
What is it, Father?
If only Peter were here now. Now you'll see how human beings can walk around and make judgments like blind rats.
What in the world has happened, Doctor?
It is of the general opinion, is it not, that our town is a sound and healthy spot?
Of course.
What happened?
Even a rather unusually healthy spot. My God. A place that could be recommended not only to all people, but sick people.
What do you mean?
And we certainly have recommended it. I myself have written about it in the
Yes,
People's
yes, but
Messenger.
Doctor,
And
what are you trying to say?
the miraculous springs that cost such a fortune to build? The whole health institute is a pest hole.
Father, what's
That's
the
unbelievable.
You know that filth up in Windmill Valley? That stuff that has such a stinking smell? It comes down from the tannery, and the same damn poisonous mess comes right out into the blessed miraculous waters we're supposed to cure people
You
with.
mean actually what our beaches are?
Exactly.
How are you so sure about this, Doctor?
I had a suspicion about it a long time ago. Last year, there were too many sick cases among the visitors. Typhoid and gastric disturbances.
That's true. I remember Miss Stenson's niece.
Yes, dear. At the time, we thought that the visitors brought the bug. But later this winter, I got a new idea, and I started investigating the water.
So that's what you've been working on.
I sent samples of the water to the university for an exact chemical
And
analysis.
that's what you received.
This is it. It proves the existence of infectious organic matter in the water.
Well, thank goodness you discovered it in
I think
time.
you can say that, Catherine.
What do you
Isn't it
intend to do
wonderful?
now, Doctor?
We'll put the thing right, of
Do you
course.
think that can be done?
Well, if not, then the whole institute is useless. But there's nothing to worry about. I am quite clear on what has to be done.
But Tom, why do you keep it so secret?
What'd you expect me to do? Go out and shoot my mouth off before I really knew? No, thanks. I'm not that crazy. You simply don't realize what this means, Captain. The whole water system has got to be changed.
The whole water
The
system?
whole water system, the intake is too low. It has to be raised to a much higher spot. The whole construction has got to be ripped out.
Well, Dad, at least we can prove that they should have listened to you.
Ha! She remembers.
That's right, you did warn them.
Of course I warned them. When they started the damn thing, I told them not to build it down there, but who am I, a mere scientist, to tell politicians where to build a health institute? Well, now they're going to get it both barrels.
This is tremendous. Well, he's a great
Oh,
man.
it's bigger than tremendous. Wait till they see this. Petra, my report is on my desk. And envelopes, Catherine. Gentlemen, this final proof from the university and my report. 5 solid, explosive
Is
pages.
this big enough?
Fine. Right to the board of directors. Give this to the maid and... What's her name again?
Randine, dear, Randine.
Tell our darling Randine to wipe her nose off and run over to the mayor right now. What's the matter, dear?
I don't know.
What's Uncle Peter going to say to
That's
us?
what I was thinking.
What can he say? He ought to be damn glad that such an important fact can be brought out before we start an epidemic. Hurry, dear.
I would like to put a brief item about this in the paper.
Yes, that'd be really great.
Because the people ought to know soon, right?
Right away.
Oh my God, you'll be the leading man in this town, Doc.
Oh, no, every detective gets a lucky break once in his life, but just the same.
Oh, Hofstad, don't you think the town ought to be Dr. Stockton's tribute?
No.
Let's all put in a word for our beloved.
Oh, I'll talk to this last
No,
one.
fellows, please, no fooling around. I won't put up with any commotion. Even if the board of directors wants to give me an increase, I won't take it. I just won't take it, Catherine.
That's right, Tom.
Skull, Father.
Skull, doctor!
Doctor, I hope your future is filled with great happiness and pleasure.
Thanks, friends, thanks. There's one blessing above all others. To have earned the respect of one's neighbors is... Catherine! I'm going to dance. Con siete brincoli avec fredella bel, indicar som gente, iga sagati, frettament fra Island och Norek samla var, Nidaros bastade non heilig handvägar. Kom sitte brincoli avec fredella bel, indicar som gente, iga sagati, frettament fra Island och Norek samla var, Nidaros bastade non heilig handvägar.
Children!
I just got in. What's up?
From Peter. It just came.
Peter, oh, let's see. I'm returning here with the report you submitted.
Well, what does he say? Don't just stand there.
Oh, he just says he'll come around later this afternoon.
Well, maybe then you ought to remember to be home on time.
I sure will. I'm through with my morning visits anyway.
Dying to see how he's going to take it.
Why? Is there any doubt? He'll probably make it look like he made the discovery and not me.
Aren't you a little bit afraid of that?
Oh, underneath he'll be happy, Catherine. It's just that Peter's so damn afraid that somebody else is going to do something good for this town.
Why can't you share the honors with him like good brothers?
I don't mind, Catherine. As long as it makes everybody happy.
Is it really true?
Oh, Father, come in.
Well, good morning.
It better be true or I'm going.
Well, that better be true.
This crazy story about the water system, is it really true?
Of course it's true.
How did you find out about it?
Petra came flying by on her way to school this morning.
Oh, she did?
Yes, I thought she was trying to make a fool out of me.
Why on earth would she do that?
Nothing pleases young people more than to make fools out of old people. This is true, eh?
Of course it's true. Please, sit down. Now, it's pretty lucky for the town, huh?
Lucky for the town.
I mean, that I made the discovery before it was too late.
Tom, I never thought you had the imagination to pull your own brother's leg like this.
Pull his leg.
Tell me, how does it go again? Let me get it straight. There's some kind of, like, cockroaches in the water pipes?
No, not cockroaches.
Well, some kind of little animals.
Bacteria, Father.
How about a whole mess of them,
Oh,
right?
there'll be millions and millions of
And only you can see them, is that it?
Yes, that's... Well, of course, anyone would like What are you laughing at?
Father, just because you can't see the bacteria doesn't mean that they're not there.
Good girl, you stick with him. By God, this is the best story I ever heard in my life.
What do you mean?
But tell me, you think you can actually get your brother to believe this?
Well, we'll see soon enough.
You really think he's that crazy?
I would hope that the whole town would be that crazy, Morton.
Yep, they probably are. And it'd serve them right, too. They think they're so much smarter than us old-timers. Your good brother ordered them to bounce me out of the council, so they chased me out like a dog. Make jackasses out of them all, Stockman.
Yes, but Morton...
Long-eared, short-tailed jackasses. Stockman, you can get your brother, grab at this bait. I can give at least 200 crowns to charity right now, right on the spot.
Well, that'd be very generous of you, Morton.
Now, I don't have much to play around with, but I can give at least 50 crowns to charity. Maybe that'll teach them to put some brains back in City Hall. Is this one in on it too?
Of course he's in on it.
Couldn't I have guessed it? It's probably going to be in the papers, I suppose. You're sure tying down the corners, aren't you? Well, lay it on thick. I gotta get going.
Oh, no, please stay. Let me explain it to you.
Oh, I get it, don't worry. Only you can see them, right? My God, this is the best story I've ever
Father,
heard.
you don't understand how bacteria.
The old badger doesn't believe a word of it.
What does he think you're doing?
Trying to make an idiot of my brother, imagine that.
You got a few minutes.
Sure, as long as you like.
Have you heard from the mayor?
One that is coming over later.
I've been thinking about this since last night.
Don't say.
For you as a medical man, this is a really rare opportunity. But I've been wondering if you realize that it ties into a lot of other things.
What do you mean? Snap. So, what exactly are you driving at?
You said last night that the water comes from impurities in the ground.
It comes from that dump up in Windmill Valley.
Doctor, I think it comes from an entirely different dump. The same dump that is poisoning our whole social life in this town.
For God's sakes, Hofstad, what are you babbling about?
Everything that matters in this town has fallen into the hands of a few bureaucrats.
Now, they're not all bureaucrats.
They're all rich with old reputable names, and they've got everything in the palms of their hands.
Yes, but they happen to have ability and knowledge.
Did they show ability and knowledge when they built the water system where they did?
Of course not, but that happened to be a blunder, and we'll clear it up now.
You really imagine it's going to be as easy as all that?
Easy or not easy, it's got to be done.
Doctor, I've made up my mind. I'm going to give this whole water scandal very special treatment.
Wait, you can't call it a scandal yet.
Doctor, when I took over the People's Messenger, I swore I'd blow that smug cabal of old self-satisfied, stubborn fogies to bits. This is the story that can do it.
Yes, but I still think we owe them a deep debt of gratitude for building the springs.
The mayor being your brother, I wouldn't ordinarily want to touch it, but I know you wouldn't let that kind of thing obstruct the truth.
Of course not, but that doesn't
I want you to understand me. I don't have to tell you that I come from a simple family. I know in my bones what the underdog means. He's got to have a say in the government of society. That's what brings our ability, knowledge, and respect in people.
I understand that.
Now I know very well that in fancy circles they call it agitation. And they can call it whatever they'd like if it makes them happy, but I've got my own opinions.
Look, Hofstad, I agree with you, but this is about... Damn it. Come in.
I beg your pardon, doctor, if I may intrude.
You looking for me, Miss Watson?
No, I didn't know you were here. I want to speak to the doctor.
What can I do for you?
Is it true, what I hear from Mr. Billing, that you intend to campaign for a better water system?
Yes, for the Institute, but it's not a campaign.
I just wanted to call and tell you that we're behind you 100%.
There you see.
Mr. Laxon, I thank you with all my heart, but I
We can be important, doctor. When a little businessman wants to push something through, he can be important. It's always good to have a majority on your side.
That's certainly true, but I don't understand. It seems to me it's a simple, straightforward business. The water
Of
is-
course, doctor, we intend to behave with moderation. Always tend to be a careful and moderate man.
You are known for that, Mr. Laxon, but...
Pearson Springs are becoming a gold mine for this town, especially for little businessmen. That's why in my capacity as chairman of the Property Owners Association,
Yes?
and furthermore, as a representative for the Timber Society, you probably know, doctor, that I'm active for prohibition.
So I've heard.
And as a result, I've come into contact with many people. And since I'm known as a law-abiding and solid citizen, I have a certain influence in this town. Some might even call it a little power.
I understand that very well, Mr. Laxon.
That's why you can see it would be practically nothing for me to put on a demonstration.
Demonstration? What are you going to demonstrate about?
The citizens of this town complimenting you for bringing this important matter to everyone's attention. Obviously, it would have to be done with the utmost moderation as not to hurt the
This
authorities.
kid knocked the big bellies right out of town.
No indiscretion or extreme aggressiveness towards the authorities, Mr. Hofstad. I don't need any wild-eyed radicalism in this thing. I've seen enough of that in my time and no good's ever come of it. But for a good, solid citizen to express his calm, frank, and free opinion is something that no one can deny.
Mr. Aslaxon, I can't tell you how it heartens me to hear this kind of support. I'm happy, I really am. I'm happy. Listen, wouldn't you care for a glass of sherry?
I'm a member of the Temperance
How
Society.
about a glass of beer?
I don't think I can go quite that far, Doctor. Well, good day. And remember, you have the little man behind you like a wall. You have the solid majority on your side because when the little man wants to take over...
Thanks, Mr. Aslaxon, and good day.
Will you be at the printing shop, Mr. Hofstad?
Just have a thing or two to attend to here.
Very well.
How about a little hypodermic? For these fence-sitting deadheads, they're afraid. They know perfectly well what is right, but they are afraid.
Why? I think that Aslaxon is a very sincere man.
Isn't it time to pump some guts into these well-intentioned men of goodwill? Under all their liberal talk, they still worship authority. That's got to be rooted out of this town. This whole blunder of the water system has to be made clear to every citizen. Let me print your report.
Oh no, not until I talk to my brother.
I'll print an editorial in the meantime, and if the mayor doesn't go along
I
with
don't see how you can imagine such a
it,
thing.
believe me, doctor, it's entirely possible.
Look, I promise you, he will go along and then you can print my report, every word of it.
On your word of honor.
Yeah. Can't do you any harm to read it, just return it to me later.
Good day, doctor.
Good day. You'll see that it's going to be easier than you think.
I hope so, doctor. Sincerely. Let me know when you hear from his honor.
Catherine! Oh, you're home already, Petra.
I just got back home from school.
Oh.
Hasn't he been here?
Peter? Oh, no, but I just had a long chat with Hofstad. He was fascinated with my discoveries, and it has many more implications than I ever thought. Do you know what I have backing me up?
What in heaven's name have you got backing you up?
A solid majority.
Is that good?
Good? It's wonderful. You can't imagine the feeling, Catherine, to know that your own town treats you like a brother. I haven't felt so at home in this town since I was a boy.
That's the front door.
Morning.
Good morning, how are you?
Oh, it's Peter. Well, come on in.
How are you today?
All right.
I read your thesis, The Condition of the Springs, yesterday.
I got your notes. Did you read it?
I read it.
What do you have to say?
Come on, Petra.
Thomas, was it really necessary to go into this investigation behind my back?
Well, certainly, until I was convinced myself.
And now you're convinced?
Of course, Peter, aren't you? University chemists
You
corroborated.
intend to present this document to the board of directors officially as medical officer of the Springs?
Well, of course, something's got to be done, and quick.
You always use such strong expressions, Thomas. Among other things in your report, you say that we guarantee our guests and visitors a permanent case of poisoning.
Yes, but Peter, how can you describe it any other way? Imagine, poisoned internally and externally.
And so you merrily conclude that we must build a waste disposal plant and reconstruct a brand new water system from the bottom up.
Well, you see another way out? I don't.
I took a little walk over to the city engineer this morning, and in the course of conversation, I sort of jokingly mentioned these changes as something we might consider for the future.
The future won't be soon enough, Peter.
The engineer kind of smiled at my extravagance and gave me a few facts. I don't suppose you've taken the trouble to consider what your proposed changes would cost.
No, I never thought of
Well, naturally. Your little project would come to at least 300,000 crowns.
that. That expensive?
Oh, don't be so upset. That's only money. The worst thing is that it would take some 2 years.
2 years?
At least. And what do you propose we do about the springs in the meantime? Oh, why, we'd shut them up, no doubt. Because we'd have to, you know. As soon as word gets out that the water's dangerous, we won't have a visitor left. And that's the picture, Thomas. You have it in your power to literally ruin your own town.
Now, look, Peter, I don't want to ruin anything.
Thomas, the conditions in your report are not as dangerous as you try to make them.
Now, listen, they're even worse than what they make out in the report. Remember, summer is coming and the warm weather.
I think you're over-exaggerating. A capable physician ought to know what precautions to take.
And then what?
The existing supplies for the springs are a fact, Thomas, and they've got to be treated as a fact. If you're reasonable and act with discretion, the directors of the Institute will be inclined to take under consideration any means to reasonably and without financial sacrifices make possible improvements.
My God, do you imagine that for 1 minute I would ever agree to such trickery?
Trickery?
Yes, a trick, a lie, a fraud, a treachery, a downright crime against the public and against the whole community.
I said before that I'm not convinced there is any actual danger.
Oh, you want? Anything else is impossible. My report is absolute fact. The only trouble is that you and your administration were the ones who insisted where the water supply be built where it is, and now you're afraid to commit to the blunder you committed. Damn it, don't you think I could see through it all?
All right. Let's suppose that is true. Maybe I do care a little about my reputation. I still say I do it for the good of the town. Without moral authority, there can be no government. And that is why, Thomas, it is my duty to prevent your report from reaching the board. Sometime later, I will bring the matter up for discussion, but in the meantime, not a single word is to reach the public.
Oh, my dear Peter, do you imagine you could prevent that?
It will be prevented.
It can't be. There are too many people who already know about it.
Who? It can't possibly be those people from the Daily Messenger.
That's right, the free, liberal, and independent press will stand up and do its duty.
You are an unbelievably irresponsible man, Thomas. Can you imagine what kind of consequences that's going to have for you?
For me?
Yes. For you and your family.
What the hell are you saying now?
I think I have the right to think of myself as a helpful brother, Thomas.
You have been, and I thank you deeply for it.
Don't mention it. I often couldn't help myself. I had hoped that by improving your finances, I'd be able to keep you from going completely hog wild.
You mean you only did it for your own sake?
Well, partly, yes. But what do you think people would think of an official whose closest relatives get themselves into trouble time and time again?
And that's what I've done.
Well, you do it without knowing it. You're like a man with an automatic brain. As soon as an idea pops into your head, no matter how idiotic it may be, you get up like a sleepwalker and start writing a pamphlet.
Peter, don't you think it's a citizen's duty to share a new idea with the public?
The public doesn't need new ideas. The public is much better off with old ideas.
Not even embarrassed to say that.
Now look, I'm going to leave this out for you once and for all. You're always barking about authority. If a man gives you an order, he's persecuting you. Nothing is important enough to respect once you've decided to revolt against your superiors. Well, all right then. I give up. I'm not going to try and change you anymore. I told you the stakes you're playing for here, and now I'm going to give you an order. And I warn you, you had better obey it if you valued your career.
What kind of an order?
You are going to deny these rumors officially.
How?
You simply say that you went through the examination more thoroughly and you found that you overestimated the danger.
I see.
And that you have the complete confidence that whatever improvements are needed, the management will certainly take care of them.
My convictions rely on the conditions of the water. My convictions will change when the water changes, and for no other reason.
What are you talking about, convictions? You are an official. You keep your convictions to yourself.
To myself?
As an official, I say. God knows as a private person, that's something else. But as a subordinate employee of the Institute, you have no right to go into any opinions or personal convictions about anything connected with policy.
You listen to me. I am a doctor and a scientist.
And what's this got to do with
I
science?
have the right to express my opinion on anything in this world.
Not about the Institute. That I forbid.
You forbid?
I forbid you as your superior, and when I give you orders, you obey.
Peter, if you were my brother, I swear to God.
Stay for this. Stop.
What were you two doing, eavesdropping?
You were talking so loud.
Yes, I was eavesdropping.
Well, that makes me very happy.
You said something to me about forbidding.
You forced me to.
You want me to spit in my own face officially, is that it?
Why must you always be so colorful?
And if I don't obey?
Well, then we will have to publish our own statement to calm the public.
Good enough. And I will write against you. I will stick to what I said and prove that I am right and that you are wrong. And what will you do then?
Well, then I simply won't be able to prevent your dismissal.
What?
Dismissed from the Institute is what I said. If you want to make war on Kirsten Springs, you have no right to be on the board of directors.
You dare to do that?
Oh no, you're the daring man.
Uncle, this is a rotten way to treat a man like father.
So young and you've got opinions already? That's natural. Catherine, you're probably the only sane person in this house. Knock some sense into his head, will you? He could realize what he's dragging his family into.
My family concerns nobody but myself.
His family and his own town.
I'm going to show you who loves this town. Everybody in this town is going to get the full stake of this corruption, Peter, and then we'll see who loves this town.
You love this town when you blindly, spitefully, stubbornly go around trying to cut off its most important industry?
The source is poison. We are getting fat by peddling filth to innocent people.
I think this has gone beyond opinions and convictions, Thomas. Any man who can throw an insinuation like that around is nothing but a traitor to society.
How dare you!
Father! I will not expose myself to violence. You've been warned. Consider what you owe yourself and your family. Good day.
He's insulted. He's insulted.
Shameful, Thomas.
Oh, I would love to give him the piece of my mind.
My own fault. I should have shown my teeth from the very beginning. He called me a traitor to society. Me! Damn it all, that's not going to stick.
Just think, he has all the power on his side.
I have the truth on mine.
Without power, what good is truth?
That's ridiculous, Captain. I have the liberal press and the majority, the solid majority. If that's not power, then what is?
But you're not going to.
What am I not going to do?
You're not going to fight it out in public with your brother.
What the hell else do you want me to do?
It won't do you any earthly good, and all you'll get out of it is a notice that you are fired.
I'm going to do my duty, Catherine. Me, the man he calls a traitor to society!
What about your duty to your family?
Oh, don't always think of us first.
You
Mother.
can talk, but when worse comes to worse, you can manage for yourself. What about the boys, Tom? And you? And me?
What about you? You want me to be the miserable animal to crawl up the boot of that damn gang? Will you be happy if I can't live with myself for the rest of my life?
There's so much injustice in the world. You've simply got to learn to live with it. Has it been so long since the North that you've forgotten what it's like to live like we have lived? If we go on like this, we will have no money. What about the boys, Tom? We have nothing if you are fired!
Stop it! Well, boys, did you learn anything in school today?
We learned what an insect
You
is.
don't say.
What happened here? Why is everybody
Nothing. You know what I'm going to do from now on, boys? From now on, I'm going to teach you what a man is.
Don't you not come in?
No, you finish it? What do you think of it?
It's devastating. I swear the doctors are brilliant men. You know, I myself never really understood how incompetent those fat fellows are on top. You know, I hear the rumble of revolution in this.
His license inside.
That's nice as a cow. But with all that moderation talk, all he's saying is he's going to go. You're going to print this, aren't you?
Sure. I'm just waiting for the doctor to do it. And if the mayor doesn't go along with it, we'll put it on the press list.
If the mayor's against us, it's going to get pretty rough.
Just let him try to block that reconstruction. The little businessmen in the whole town will be screaming for his head. His Laxton will see to that.
The stockholders will have to lay out a fortune when money just goes through.
Oh my boy, I think it's going to bust him. And when the springs go busted, the people will finally understand the level of genius that's been running this. Those 5 sheets of paper are going to put in a liberal administration once and for all.
It's the revolution, you know that? I mean, we're on the edge of a real revolution.
Put it on the press.
Mr. Laxton, the doctor's
Wonderful.
here.
What the mayor said.
The mayor has declared war, so war is what it's going to be. And this is just the beginning. You know what he tried to do? Well, he actually tried to blackmail me. He's got the nerve to tell me I'm not allowed to speak my mind without his permission. Imagine the shameless effrontery.
Yeah, she said it right out.
Right to my face. The only trouble is that I could have given them more credit for being our kind of people, but they're dictators. They're the people who hold on to power even if they have to poison the town to do it.
Now, take it easy, doctor. I'm with you, understand, but moderation.
What'd you think of the article, Ofsted?
It's a masterpiece. In a single blow, you've managed to prove beyond any doubt what kind of men are running this.
May we print it now then?
I should say so.
Have it ready for tomorrow's paper.
And listen, Mr. Laxton, do me a favor, won't you? You run a fine paper, but supervise the printing personally, huh? I hate to see the weather report signs in the middle of my article.
There won't be a mistake this time.
Make it perfect, huh? Like you were printing money. You can't imagine how I'm dying to see it in print after all the lies told in the papers, the half lies, the quarter lies, to see the absolute unvarnished truth about something important. And this is just the beginning. Soon we'll move on to other subjects and blow up every lie that we live by. What do you say, Mr. Laxon?
Just remember,
Moderation!
I don't see what's so funny about that.
Dr. Stockman, I feel as though I were standing in some sort of historic painting. Well, God damn it, this is a historic day. Some days the scene will be in a museum entitled, "The Day the Truth Was Born."
But that reminds me, I have a patient half vanished down the road. Oh.
I hope you realize how useful he could be to us.
I don't like that this is only the beginning. Let him stick to the springs.
What makes you so scared all the time?
I have to live here. It's not like he's going after the national government. I have to go after the whole town administration.
No, what's the difference? Bad is bad.
Yes, but there is a difference. You go after the national government, what's going to happen? Nothing. They go right on. To go after the whole town administration, the why will be overthrown or something. I represent the small property owners.
It's always the same, Give a man a little property and the truth can go to hell.
Mr. Billing, I'm older than you are. I've seen fire years before. You know who used to sit at your desk before you? Councilman Sinsford. Councilman.
Well, just because I work at a renegade's desk.
You're a politician. A politician never knows where he's going to go. Besides, you apply for secretary to the magistrate.
Billing?
Well, why not? I can put across plenty of good things. I can put plenty of big boys in the spot with a job like that.
All right, I'm just saying. I may not have made the hot speeches, but when you were calling me a coward, I didn't go back on my beliefs either. Unlike some of the big radicals around here, I didn't change. Of course, I am a little more moderate.
Oh, God.
I don't see what's so funny about that.
If we can just get rid of him.
Take it easy. He pays the printing bill, he's not that bad. Get this on the press.
Oh, St. Hobson. How about asking Stockman to back us? Then we could really put out a paper.
What would he do for money?
Well, his father-in-law.
Heal. Since when has he got money?
Oh, I think he's loaded with it.
Really? As long as I've known him, he's wearing the same overcoat, the same suit.
Yeah, and the same ring on his right hand. You ever get a look at that folder?
No, I never.
All you wears is a diamond inside, but New Year's Eve he turns it around. Well, figure it out. When a man's got no visible means of support, what's he living on? Money, right? Now, my idea is that...
Hello.
Well, fancy seeing you here. Sit down, what can I do?
I want to ask you something.
What's that?
The English novel you want to translate.
Aren't you going to do it?
I don't get this.
You don't get what?
This book is absolutely against everything you people believe.
It's not that bad, is it?
But Mr. Hofstad, it says if you're good, there's a supernatural force that'll fix it so you end up happy. And if you're bad, you'll be punished. Since when does the world work that way?
Yes, but Petra, this is a newspaper. People like to read that kind of thing. They buy the paper for that, and then we slip in our political stuff. A newspaper can't buck the public.
You don't say.
Now, wait a minute. Here, get this on the press, will you?
Sure.
I want you to understand. I never even read that book. It was Billing's idea.
But I thought it was a radical.
He is, but he's also
A newspaper man.
That too. But I was going to say that he is trying to get the job as secretary to the magistrate.
What?
People are people in Stockholm.
But the magistrate, he's been fighting everything productive in this town for 30 years.
Let's not argue about it. I just didn't want you to go out of here with the wrong idea of me. Guess you know that I happen to admire women like you. Never had a chance to say it, but I want you to know it. Do you mind?
No, I don't mind. But reading that book upset me. I really don't understand. Will you tell me why you're supporting my father?
What's there to it? It's a matter of principle.
But printing a book like that has no principle.
Why do you jump to such extremes? You're just like...
Just like what?
I simply
Like
meant
my
that-
father you met? You really have no use for him.
Now wait a minute!
What's behind all this? Are you just trying to hold my hand or something?
I happen to agree with your father, Miss Stockman, and that's why I'm printing this stuff. Nothing would please me more than to hold your hand, but I assure you
You're
this
trying
is...
to put something over, I think. Why are you in this?
Who are you accusing? Billing gave you that book, not me.
But you don't mind printing it, do you? What are you trying to do with my father? You have no principles. What are you up to here?
My God, Hofstad! Miss Stockman?
I've never been so frightened.
No, please, you
Where are
mustn't
you
do
going?
that.
The mayor's out back.
The mayor.
Him in the back, he wants to see you.
What does he want?
I'll watch for anyone coming in over here.
Come in, Your Honor.
Thank you. It's clean. I always thought it'd be dirty, but it's clean. Very nice, Mr. Slaxon.
Thank you, Your Honor.
What can I do for you, Your Honor?
I had a very annoying thing happen today, Mr. Hofstad.
That's so.
Yes, it seems my brother has written some sort of memorandum about the springs.
Don't say.
Ah, he mentioned it to you?
Yes, I think he did say something about it.
That's it, isn't it?
This? Oh, I don't know. The printer just handed this to
Isn't
me.
that the thing the prayer wanted to spelling check?
Yes, it's just a matter of spelling. I'll be
Oh,
right
I'm very good at spelling. Maybe I can help
Oh,
you.
no, sir, it's Latin. You wouldn't know any Latin, would
Oh,
you?
yes, I used to help my brother with his Latin all the time. He'd let me have it. You're going to print this?
I can't very well refuse a signed article. The signed article is the author's responsibility.
Mr. Slaxon, you're going to allow this?
I'm the publisher, Your Honor, not the editor. My policy has been freedom for the editor.
You have a point, I can see that.
So if you don't mind.
Not at all. This reconstruction of the
I
spring.
understand, Your Honor, it would be a tremendous sacrifice for the stockholders.
Oh, don't upset yourself. The first thing a mayor learns is that the less wealthy can always be prevailed upon to demand a spirit of sacrifice for the public good.
I'm glad you see that.
Oh, yes. Especially when it's the wealthy who will be doing the sacrificing. What you don't seem to understand, Mr. Slaxon, is that so long as I am mayor, any changes in those bats are going to be paid for by a municipal loan.
A municipal? You mean the people are going to pay for this?
Exactly.
But the Springs are a private
The
corporation.
corporation built Kirsten Springs out of its own money. If the people want them changed, then the people must naturally pay the bill. The corporation is in no position to put out any more money. It simply can't do it.
The people would never stand for this. This is fact or your opinion.
It happens to be a fact. Plus another fact. You'll forgive me for talking about facts in a newspaper office. But don't forget that the Springs will take 2 years to make over. 2 years without income for your small businessman, Mr. Slaxon, and a heavy new tax beside. All that because of this dream, this hallucination that we live in a past.
That's based on science.
This is based on vindictiveness, on his hatred of authority and nothing else. This is the mad dream of a man who's trying to blow up our way of life. And I intend to see to it that the people in this town see it exactly so.
My God. Hofstad, are you sure you want to print this thing?
Frankly, I never thought about it quite this way. If you think of it psychologically, it's completely possible, of course, that the man is simply up to... I don't know, Your Honor. I'd hate to hurt the town in any way. I never imagined you'd have to have a new tax.
Well, you should have imagined it, because now you're going to have to advocate it. Unless, of course, liberal and radical newspaper readers enjoy high taxes. You'd know better than I, of course. I happen to have here a brief statement of the actual facts. It proves that with a little care, nobody be harmed at all by the water. Of course, in time, you'd have to make a few minor structural changes, and we'd pay for those.
May I see that?
I want you to study it, Mr. Hofstad, and see if you don't agree that the people would rather read this than that proof.
Are you expecting the doctor?
He's here?
He's just crossing the street. He's...
Do something! Do something!
Here.
Right this way.
Hurry up! Get him out of here right away.
Any proofs yet? I guess not.
No, you can't expect it for some time.
Mind if I wait?
No sense in that, Doctor. It'll be quite a while yet.
Oh, bear with me, Hofstad. I'm just dying to see you in
Well,
print.
we're pretty busy, Doctor.
Oh, I understand. Don't let me hold you up. That's the way to be, busy, busy. We'll make this town shine like a jewel. Just one thing.
Doctor, we made two calls.
Please, walking down the street now, I got to look at the people in the stores, driving the wagons, and I was, well, touched, you know? By their innocence, I mean. What I'm driving at is that when this expose breaks their liable to start making a saint out of me or something, and Mr. Slaxon, I want you to promise me that you aren't going to put up any dinner or anything.
Doctor, there's no use concealing.
I knew it. I was simply not
That's
attending
why I think
dinner
it's
in
time
my
that we-
honor.
I thought so. Thomas, I want you home. I want you to talk to Petra.
What happened? What are you doing
Something
here?
wrong with Stockman?
Dr. Stockman is the father of 3 children, Mr. Hofstad.
Now, everybody knows that. What are you getting
They
at?
wouldn't believe it, good by the way you're dragging us into this disaster.
What disaster?
He treats you like a son, and you want to make a fool of him.
I'm not making a fool out
How
of
dare
him.
you accuse Hofstad of such a
If
thing?
you print this article, they will fire him from his job at the Springs. Do you realize that? If you print this article, they will grind him up like a piece of flesh.
You're embarrassing me. I beg your pardon,
What are you
Chancellor.
up to, Mr. Hobson?
I will not have you jumping on Hofstad like this.
I want you home. This man is not your friend.
He is my friend. Any man who shares my risk is my friend. You simply don't understand, Catherine, that when this breaks, everybody in this town is going to come out to the streets and drive that family. What's this? What the hell is he doing
No,
there?
doctor, what's he called?
What'd he do? They talk you out of it? I'll send! Where is he? He will not get away with this now. Where did you hide him?
Doctor, be careful!
Well, Peter. Poisoning the water wasn't enough. You working on the press now?
My hat, please. And my stick. Now, what's this nonsense? Take that off. That's official insignia.
Oh, I just wanted you to realize, Peter, that any man can wear this hat and that a free citizen is not afraid to touch it. And as for the baton of command, Your Honor, it can pass from hand to hand. So don't gloat yet. The people haven't spoken, and I have the people because I have the truth on my side.
We're not scientists, doctor. We can't judge whether your article is really true or not.
Then print it in my name. Let me defend it.
I'm not printing it. When it gets out, the people aren't going to stand for any changes in the Springs.
His Honor just told us there will be a new tax.
Huh. So that is why you are not scientists, subtly, and can't decide whether or not I'm telling the truth.
Don't take that attitude. The point is that...
Ah, the point. The point. The point is going to drive into this town like an arrow, and I'm going to fire it. You at least print it as a pamphlet. I will pay for it.
I'm not going to ruin this paper or this town, doctor. For the sake of your family.
You can leave his family out of this, Mr. Slackson. My God, I think you people are horrible.
My article, if you don't mind.
You won't get it printed in this town, doctor.
Can't you just forget it? Can't you see that
Oh, I
everybody...
can't forget it, Your Honor. You will never forget it as long as you live. I'm going to hold a mass meeting.
Oh, and who's going to rent you a hall?
That I will take a drum and march up and down this street and proclaim that the Springs are befouled and that poison is rotting the body politic.
And I believe you really are that mad.
Mad? Oh, my dear brother, I haven't even raised my voice yet. Catherine.
Oh, come in. I didn't have enough chairs, so I decided not to have chairs at all.
Well, my name is Bill. Don't you remember the doctor's house?
Oh, yes, I didn't recognize you. I guess I've been busy lately. Why don't those people come inside?
I don't know. I suppose they're waiting for the mayor or somebody important to say the sheriff's respectful here. I want to ask you a question before it begins. Why are you lending your house for this? I've never heard of you connected with anything political.
I'll answer that. Have you ever traveled?
Not abroad, no.
Well, I have, and I've been a lot of places where people aren't allowed to have unpopular opinions. Did you know that?
Sure, read about it.
Well, I don't like it.
One more question, please. What's your opinion on the doctor's proposition to rebuild the Springs?
I don't know a thing about it. Come have enough chairs, so you'll just have to stand.
Try the horn. No, wait till he starts to speak. Wait till you hear this. I could blow your buttons off with this.
I don't have any buffers here. Oh, come in. I have a seat just for you.
There's quite a crowd out there. Why don't they come in?
I suppose they are waiting for the mayor.
Are all those people on his side?
Who knows? People are bashful. And with a meeting as unusual as this, I suppose
Good
they...
evening, ladies.
I don't blame you for not speaking. I just wanted to say I don't think this would be a very good place for you tonight.
I don't remember asking your advice, Mr. Billy.
I'm not as bad as you think, Mrs. Stockton.
Then why did you print the mayor's statement and not a word of my husband's article? Everyone out there on the street is against him already, and they don't even know what he stands for.
If we printed his report, it only would have hurt your husband.
Mr. Billing, I've never said this to anyone in my life, but I think that you're a liar.
If you do this one more time, I'll put you out of here, you hear?
Catherine, Petra,
Good evening.
why so coldly? You wanted a meeting and he's got it. He's here, isn't he?
The doctor is out ensuring there's a good turnout for tonight's meeting.
Ah, fair enough. By the way, Petra, did you paint that poster, the one that someone stuck to the town hall?
You can call it a painting, yes.
You know, I can have you arrested in case of legal to deface the town hall.
Oh, well, here I
Here,
am.
if you arrest her, I will never speak to you.
Oh, but Catherine, you have no sense of humor.
Say, friend, who's running? Who's the candidate?
Wait, mister, you're drunk. Get out of here.
There's no law that says a man who's drunk can't vote.
I said get out of here. Get out.
I want to vote! I want to vote!
Your Honor, please bring it back.
Right this way, everyone. Please. Come in. Sorry, no chairs. Couldn't get a hall, but just relax. It won't take long. Glad you're here, Peter.
I wouldn't miss it for the world.
How are you feeling, Catherine?
Just promise me you won't lose your temper.
Look, if you ain't voting, what the hell's going on here?
Get out of here.
You really
Don't
think he's that
look.
crazy?
All right. I order you to get out and stay out.
I don't like telling your voice.
Yeah.
If you don't watch your step, I'm gonna make it. What you on, Judge? What are you, revolutionary?
All right, quiet down. We might as well begin. Please, everyone. The issue is very simple. Now,
We haven't elected a chairman, Doctor.
I'm sorry, Mr. Laxton, this isn't a meeting. I advertised a lecture, so...
I came to a meeting, doctor. There's got to be some sort of control here.
What do you mean control? What is there to control here?
Sure, let him speak. This is no meeting.
Your Honor, why don't you take charge of this?
Just a minute now, please.
Somebody responsible is out of charge. There's a big difference of opinion here.
What makes you so sure? You don't even know yet what I'm going to say.
I've got a pretty good idea what you're going to say, and I don't like it. If a man doesn't like it here, let him go where it suits him better. We don't want any troublemakers here.
Now, look, friend, you don't even know anything about me.
We know plenty about you, Stockman.
From what? From the newspapers? How do you know I don't like this town? I'm trying to save the life of this town.
Now, just a minute, Doctor. I think the democratic thing to do here is to elect a chairman.
I nominate Mayor.
Second the mayor.
No. That wouldn't be fair. We want a neutral person. I suggest Mr. Laxton.
I
who has
can do a lecture.
What are you afraid of? A fair fight?
This is no meeting.
Second, Mr. Slack.
All right,
Good
please.
choice.
If that's your pleasure, I just want to remind everyone that the reason I arranged for this lecture was that I have a very important message to give you people, and I couldn't get into the press and nobody would rent me a hall. I just hope that I'll be given time here to speak tonight. Mr. Laxton?
Just that one thing to say before we begin the night. The highest civic virtue is moderation. Now, would anyone like the floor?
I heard that. Since when are you allowed to lecture at the polls? I'm the mayor, goddammit.
Quiet, please, quiet. Now, would anyone like to speak?
Mr. Chairman?
This mayor will address the meeting.
Ladies and gentlemen, there's no reason to take very long to settle this tonight and return to our ordinary, calm, and peaceful life. Now, here's the issue. Dr. Stockman, my brother, and believe me, it's not easy to say this, has decided to destroy Kirsten Springs, our health institute.
Peter!
Let the mayor continue, please. There mustn't be any interruptions.
He has a long and very involved way of going about it, but that's the brunt of it, believe me.
What are we waiting for? Run him out of
Now,
town!
just a minute here. I don't want any violence here tonight. I want you to understand his motives. He is a man, always has been, who is never happy unless he is badgering authority, or ridiculing authority, destroying authority. He wants to attack the Springs so that he can prove that the administration blundered in the construction.
May I speak?
The mayor's not finished.
Thank you. Now, there are a number of people here who seem to feel that the doctor has a right to say anything he pleases. After all, we are a democratic country.
That's a right you can't deny.
Now, God knows in ordinary times I'd agree 100% with anyone's right to say anything. But these are not ordinary times. Nations have crises, and so do towns. Now, there are ruins of nations and there are ruins of towns all over the world that were wrecked by people who, in the guise of reform and pleading for justice and so on, broke down all authority and left only revolution and chaos.
What the hell are you
Doctor,
talking
I must
about?
insist.
I called a lecture. I did not invite him here to attack me. He's got the press in every hall in this town. I have nothing but this room here tonight.
It's gonna get
And
pretty
what you
rough.
got?
You're not making a very good impression, Doctor. Please continue, Your Honor.
Now, this is our crisis. We know what this town was without the Institute. We could barely afford to keep the streets in condition. It was a dead third-rate hamlet. Today, we are on the verge of becoming internationally known as a resort. I predict that within 5 years, the income of every man in this room will be immensely greater. I predict that our schools will be bigger and better. In time, this town will be crowded with fine carriages. Great homes will be built here. First-class stores will open all along Main Street. I predict that if we are not defamed and maliciously attacked, that we will someday be one of the richest and most beautiful resort towns in the world. Now, there are your choices. Now, all you have to do is ask yourselves a simple question. Has any of us the right, the democratic right, as they like to call it, to pick at minor flaws in the Springs, to exaggerate the most picayune faults, and to attempt to publish these defamations for the whole world to see?
Of course not.
No way.
We live or die on what the outside world thinks of us.
That's right.
I believe that there is a line that must be drawn, and if a man tries to cross that line, we, the people, must finally take him by the collar and declare, "You cannot say that." I think we all understand each other. Mr. Slaxon, I move that Dr. Stockman be prohibited from reading his report at this meeting.
What?
Quiet, please, quiet. Now let's proceed to the vote.
Don't you let me speak at all?
We were just about to vote on that matter, Doctor.
Damn it, man, I have the right to...
Point of order, Father.
Yes, point of order.
Yes, Doctor.
You want to discuss the motion?
That's right, damn it, I want to discuss the motion.
Ah.
Now listen. He talks, and he talks, and he talks, but not one word about the facts.
We don't want to hear any more about the water.
You're just trying to blow up everything!
Just for yourselves, please let me read what I'm...
Get out of this uproar! Now, Doctor, I think the majority would like to take a vote on the matter before you speak. And if the majority decides that you shall not, well, you cannot deny that.
Don't bother voting. I understand everything now. Can I have a few minutes?
Mr. Chairman, he's not
I
allowed to
won't go into the Institute. I have a new discovery that's 1,000 times more important than all the institutes in the world. May I have the platform?
As long as you can find some...
The Springs are not the subject. Before I go into my subject, I would just like to congratulate the liberals and radicals among us, like Mr. Hofstede.
Where is your evidence to call me a radical?
You got me there. There isn't any. I guess there never really was. I just wanted to congratulate you on your self-control tonight. You, who have fought in every parlor for the principle of free speech these many years.
I believe in democracy. When my readers are overwhelmingly against something, I am not going to impose my will on them.
Mr. Hofstede. Ladies and gentlemen, Tonight I was struck by a sudden flash of light, a discovery second to none. But before I tell it to you, first, a little story. It's been a great many years in the north of our country. Up there, the rulers of the world are the great seal and gigantic squadrons of duck. Man lives on ice, huddled together in a little pile of stone. His whole life consists of grubbing for food, nothing more. He can barely speak his own language. And it came to me one day that it was romantic and sentimental for a man of my education to be tending these people. They had not yet reached the stage where they needed a doctor. If truth were to be told, a veterinary would be more in order.
You're not even a nurse to say
Is that the way
that!
you refer to decent, hard-working people?
I expected that, my friend, but don't try to fog up my brain with that magic word, the people. Just because there's a mass of organisms in a room that possess the human shape does not automatically make them a people. That honor has to be earned. And one does not automatically become a man by having a human shape and living in a home and feeding one's face and agreeing with one's neighbor. That also has to be earned. Now, when I came to my conclusion about the springs...
You have no right to go...
That's a picayune thing to catch me on a word, Peter. I'm not going into the springs. When I became convinced of my theory about the water, the authorities moved in at once, and I said to myself, I will fight them to the death because...
What are you trying to make? A revolution here? He's a revolutionary!
Let me finish, please!
You don't say!
I thought to myself, the majority. I have the majority. And let me tell you, friends, it was a grand feeling. Because the reason I came back to this place of my birth was so that I can share my education with this town. I loved it. So I spent months without pay or encouragement, and dreamed up the whole project of the springs. And why? Not as my brother says, that fine carriages can crowd our streets, but so that we might be able to cure the sick, so that we might meet people from all over the world and learn from them and become broader and more civilized, more like men. In other words, more like a people.
Admit it! You're a revolutionist. Admit it!
I don't admit it. I proclaim it now that I am against the age-old lie that the majority is always right.
He's an aristocrat. All of a sudden.
And more, I tell you now that the majority is always wrong, and in this way. Was the majority right while they stood by while Jesus was crucified? Was the majority right when they refused to believe that the earth moved around the sun that drove Galileo to his knees like a dog? It takes 50 years for the majority to be right. The majority is never right until it does right.
I just want to say that although I've been this man's friend for many years, and I've eaten at his table many times, I now cut myself off from him completely.
No. Answer me this, please, one more moment, please. A platoon of soldiers is walking down a road toward the enemy. Every one of them is convinced that he is on the right road, the safe road. 2 miles ahead, there stands one lonely man, the outpost. Now he sees that this road is dangerous, that his comrades are walking into a trap. He runs back, he finds the platoon. Isn't it clear that this man has the absolute right to warn the majority, to argue with the majority, to fight with the majority, if he believes that he has the truth? Before many can know something, one must know it. It's all the same. Rights are sacred until it hurts for somebody to use them. I beg you now. I realize that the cost is great, the inconvenience is great, the risk is great, that other towns will get the jump on us while we're rebuilding. Let me prove it to you, the water is poison!
There will be no violence here tonight. Now, Doctor, why don't you come down and give Mr. Slackson the platform?
I am not through yet.
Get down, or I will not be responsible for what happened.
Get off the stage!
Yeah!
Mr. Slackson, I move that the speaker be ordered to leave the platform.
Fine, then I will go to out-of-town newspapers and warn everybody.
You traitor!
You don't love this town?
Madman!
You are all trying to build this town on a morality so rotten that it will infect the country and the world. Oh, I say with all my heart that if the only way you can prosper is this murder of freedom and truth, then let it be destroyed. Let the people perish!
I propose the following resolution. The people of this town, decent and patriotic citizens, in defense of their home and country, declare that Dr. Thomas Stockman, medical examiner of Kirsten Springs, be declared enemy of the people. Anyone against? Just one?
Ah, me too.
Get out of here,
You can't do that. Anybody touch.
With all votes against 2, this assembly formally declares Dr. Thomas Stockton to be the people's enemy. With all future dealings with him will be on that basis. This meeting is adjourned.
Is there room on your ship to allow me No, Beckles, I don't want to mislead anybody. Any of the people.
Catherine, tell what's her name? There's still some rocks to pick up in here.
She's not finished sweeping up the glass.
Are you alright? Little boy, look at him run. It's hard to believe how fast the poison spread amongst the children.
Hard to believe it's the same town anymore.
I'm going to keep these like sacred relics. I want these in my will. I want the boys to look at them every day in their home. It's cold in here. Hasn't what's her name gotten the glazier to come fix the windows?
She's getting him.
She's been getting them for 2 hours. Freeze to death in here.
He won't come here, Tom.
No. Glazier won't come and fix my windows?
You don't realize. People don't like to be pointed out, and he's got neighbors, I suppose. At the front door? It's a letter for you.
What's this now?
I don't know how I'm going to get anything done with everyone ready to bite my head off.
What do you know? We're evicted.
No.
Says he hates to do it, but with the public
Should
opinion
we let the
being what it
boys
is.
go to school today?
Oh, don't get all frazzled again.
The landlord is such a nice man. If he's going to throw us out, the whole town must be ready to murder us.
Now, won't you? Soon we'll be in America and this will all seem like a dream.
I don't want to go to America. When did this happen?
Oh, it must have been last night.
Your best pants.
Well, that just goes to show you. A man who goes out to fight for the truth should never wear his best pants. You see? Stop worrying, won't you? You'll sew them up and we'll just be 3,000 miles away.
But how do we know it'll be any different there?
I don't know. Just assume that a big country like that, the spirit must be bigger. I guess they have the solid majority there too. At least there'll be more room to hide there.
Think about it more, will you? I hate to move halfway around the world and end up in the same place.
No, Catherine, I don't think I'm ever going to forget the face of that crowd last
Don't
night.
think about it.
Some of them had their teeth bared like animals in a pack. And who leads them? Men who call themselves liberals, radicals. Crowd lets out one roar, and where are they now, my liberal friends? But if I walk down the street right now, not a single person would ever admit he had anything to do with me. It's hard to believe it's... Are you listening to me?
I was just wondering what we'll do with all this furniture.
Why don't you ever listen when I talk, dear?
Why must I listen? I know you're right. Petra, what are you doing home from school?
What's the matter?
I'm fired. They wouldn't.
As of 2 weeks from now, but I couldn't bear to stay there.
Mrs. Busk fired you?
Who would have thought they could do such a thing?
It hurt her. I could see it because we've always agreed to about things, but she didn't dare do anything else.
The waiter doesn't dare fix my windows. The landlord doesn't dare let us stay home.
The landlord?
Evicted, darling. My God, if all the civilizations of the world could crumble down, there would be a big sign. They didn't dare.
I really can't blame her, Father. She showed me 3 letters she got this morning.
Who are they from?
They weren't signed.
Oh, naturally. The big patriots and their anonymous indignation scrawling out the darkness of their minds on dirty little slips of paper. That's morality, and I'm the traitor. What the letter say?
Well, one of them was from somebody who said that he heard at the club that somebody who visits this house said that I had radical opinions about certain things.
Oh, wonderful. Somebody heard that she heard that he heard. Catherine, back as soon as you can. I feel as though vermin are crawling all over me.
Good morning.
Captain! Just the person I wanted to see.
I thought I'd see how you all were.
That's very nice of you,
Get
Captain.
home all right?
Thank you for seeing us through that crowd last night.
Oh, it was nothing. In a storm, one thing's for sure. It will pass.
Unless it kills you.
You mustn't let yourself become so bitter, Doctor.
Trying. Just can't guarantee you while walking down the street with traitor branded on my forehead.
Don't think
Ah,
about
what's a
it.
bird?
A word can be like a needle in your heart, Captain. We can dig and corrode like an acid until you're nothing except what they want you to be. Really an enemy of the people.
You mustn't ever let that happen, Doctor.
Frankly, I don't give a damn anymore. I say, let summer come, let an epidemic break, and then they'll see who they've exiled. When are you sailing, Captain?
You're really deciding to go, Father?
Absolutely. When are you sailing?
That's actually what they came to talk about.
Why, something wrong with the ship?
You see, we can't go.
No, the ship will sail, but I won't be aboard.
No.
You fired too? Because I was this morning.
Captain, you shouldn't have let us use your house.
Oh, I'll get another ship. It's just that the owner, Mr. Vick, is in the same party as the mayor. And when you belong to a party with certain unpopular opinions, because Mr. Vick himself is really a decent man.
Oh, they're all decent men!
No, really, Doctor, he's not like the others.
Oh, he doesn't have to be. See, a party is just like a sausage grinder. You can put in long heads and fat heads and clear heads and block heads, and what do you get out at the end of it? Meatheads.
That must be the glacier.
Imagine, Captain, he refused to come all this morning.
If you're busy.
Oh, just picking up rocks and broken glass. Please come in. What can I do for you on this fine, brisk morning?
Come inside, won't you, Captain?
Yes. I'd like to finish my talk, Doctor.
I'll be with you in a minute, Captain. Keep your hat on if you like. It's a bit drafty in here today.
Thanks, I think I will. I think I caught cold last night. That house was freezing.
I found it rather warm. Suffocating, as a matter of fact. What do you want?
Can I sit down?
Oh, no, not there. See, a piece of solid majority as I will come through and break open your skull. There. Now don't tell me.
Yes.
I'm fired.
The board met this morning. There was nothing to do considering the state of public opinion.
You look scared, Peter.
I haven't completely forgotten that you're my brother.
I doubt that.
You'll have no practice left in this town, Thomas.
People always need a doctor.
A petition is going from house to house. Everyone signing it. A pledge not to call you anymore. I don't think a single family will dare refuse to sign it.
You started that, didn't you?
No. As a matter of fact, I think it's all gone a little too far. I never wanted to see you ruined, Thomas. This will ruin you.
No, it won't.
Once in your life, will you act like a responsible man?
Why don't you just come out and say it, Peter? You're afraid that I'm going to start going out of town and publishing things about the Springs, aren't you?
I don't deny that. Thomas, if you really got the good of the town on your heart, you can accomplish everything without harming anybody, including yourself.
What's this now?
Let me have a signed statement saying that in your zeal to help the town, you went overboard and exaggerated. But put it any way you like, just so that you calm anybody who might be nervous about the water. Now, if you give me that, you've got your job, and I give you my word that you can make all the gradual improvements you feel are necessary. Now, that gives you what you
You're
want.
nervous, Peter.
I am not nervous.
Oh, why don't you just come out and say it? You really want me to remain in charge while people are still being poisoned?
In time, you can make your changes, and then you...
Oh, when? What, 5 years? 10 years? You know your trouble, Peter. You just can't grasp it. There are some men you just can't buy.
Oh, I'm quite capable of understanding that, but you don't happen to be one of those men.
What the hell do you mean by that?
You know damn well what I mean by that. Morton Keel is what I mean by that.
Morton Keel.
Your father-in-law, Morton Keel.
I swear, Peter, one of us is out of his
And
mind.
I'm not trying to charm you with that professional
What
nonsense.
are you talking about?
You don't know your father-in-law's been running around all morning buying up stock in Kirsten Springs?
Buying up stock?
Buying up stock every share he can lay his hands on.
I don't understand what this has to do with anything.
Oh,
with
come now.
I hate it when you do that. Don't just walk around gabbing, oh, come now. What the hell are you talking about?
Very well. You insist on being dense. A man wages a relentless campaign to destroy confidence in the corporation. He even goes as far as to call a mass meeting against it. The very next morning, when people are still in a state of shock about it all, his father-in-law runs all over town buying up shares at half their value.
My God.
And you have the nerve to speak to me about principles?
Peter, you actually believe...
I am not interested in psychology. I believe what I see. And what I see is a man doing a dirty, filthy job for Morton Keel. And let me tell you this. By tonight, every man in this town will see the exact same thing. Now go to your desk and write me a statement denying everything you've been saying, or else I'm
Peter! You are a low creature.
All right. Now you get this one straight, Thomas. If you're figuring on opening another attack from out of town, keep this in mind. The morning that it's published, I will send out a subpoena for you and begin prosecution for conspiracy. Now, I've been trying to make you respectable all my life. Now, if you want to go and make the big jump, there will be nobody to hold you back. Now, do we understand each other?
Oh, we do, Peter. Get the girl! What the hell is her name? Tell her to wipe down the walls and scrub up the floors because a pestilence has been here. Aha! Got it! Morton! What have you done? What is the matter with you? Do you have any idea what this makes me look like? Is that them?
That's them, yes. Kirsten Springs shares, and very easy to get this morning.
What are you playing at? What is this all about?
What are you so nervous about? Can't a man buy some stock?
I want an explanation, Morton.
Thomas, they hated you last night.
You don't have to tell me that.
But they also believed you. They'd love to murder you, but they believe you. The way they say it, the pollution is coming down the river from Windmill Valley.
That's exactly where it's coming from.
Yes, and that's exactly where my tannery is.
Morton, I never made it a secret to you that the pollution was tannery waste.
I'm not blaming you. It's my fault. I didn't take you seriously. But it's very serious now. Thomas, I got that tannery from my father. He got it from his father, and his father got it from my great-grandfather. And I do not intend to allow my family's name to stand for 3 generations of murdering angels who poisoned this town.
Morton, I've waited a long time for this talk, and I doubt you can stop that from happening.
No, but you can't. I bought these shares. because-
Morton, you've thrown your money away. The Springs are doomed.
I never throw my money away, Thomas. These shares were bought with your money.
My money? What?
You probably suspected I'd leave a little something for Catherine and the boys.
Naturally, I hope that you...
Well, I decided this morning to invest that money in some stock, Thomas.
You bought that junk with Catherine's money.
People call me a badger. And it's an animal that roots things out, but it's also some kind of a pig, I understand. I've lived a clean man, and I'm going to die clean. You're going to clean my name for me.
Morton.
Now I want to see if you really belong in a straitjacket.
How could you dare do such a thing? What's
Now-
the matter with you?
Don't get excited. It's really simple. If you conduct another investigation of the water,
I don't need another investigation.
if you think it over and decide you should change your opinion about the water,
Water is poison. It's poison.
if you go on insisting the water is poisoned, with these in your house, there's only one explanation for you. You are absolutely crazy.
You're right. I'm mad. I'm insane.
You must be. You're stripping the skin off your family's back. Only a madman would do a thing like that.
Man. Why didn't you tell me before you bought that junk?
Because you would understand it better if I told you after. And God damn it, I think you understand it now, don't you? Millions of tons of water come pouring down that river. How do you know there wasn't something unusual about the water the day you made your test?
Oh! Too many samples.
How do you know? Why couldn't those little animals have clotted up in that little patch of water you shoot down the river? How do you know the rest of it wasn't pure?
It's not probable. People were getting sick last summer.
They were sick when they came here, or they wouldn't have come.
Not intestinal diseases, skin diseases.
The only place anybody gets a bellyache is here. There are no carbuncles in Norway. Maybe the food was bad. Did you even think of the food?
No, I never thought about the food.
Then what the hell makes you so sure it's the water?
Because I tested the water and it
Admit it! We're all alone here. You have some doubt.
Nothing is 100% on this earth, but that doesn't...
Then you have a perfect right to doubt the other way. You have a scientific right. Did you even think of a disinfectant? I bet you never even thought of that.
For a mass that size, it just doesn't make
Everything can be killed. That's science. Thomas, I never liked your brother. You had a perfect right to hate him.
I did not do this because I hate my brother.
Part of it. Part of it, don't deny it. You admit you have some doubt in your mind about the water. You admit there may be ways to disinfect it. Yet you went after your brother as if the only way to cure the thing was to blow up the whole institute. There's hatred in that, boy, don't forget it. These can belong to you now. So be sure, tear the hatred out of your heart. Stand naked in front of yourself. Are you sure?
What right have you to gamble my family's future on the strength of my convictions?
Huh? Then your convictions are not that strong.
I am ready to hang for my convictions. But no man has a right to make martyrs of others. My family is innocent. Sell back those shares. Give Catherine what is owed to her. I am just a penniless man.
Nobody is going to say Morton Keel wrecked this town. So you retract your convictions. But these go to charity.
Everything?
There'll be a little something for Catherine, but not much. I want my good name. It's exceedingly important to me.
And charity?
Charity will do it. Or you will do it. It's a serious thing to destroy a town.
Morton! When I look at you, I swear to God, I see the devil. You little...
Don't get excited, please.
Too many intellectuals here.
Doctor, could we have 5 minutes?
I have nothing to say to you.
I want an answer right away. You hear? I'm waiting.
All right, make it quick. What do you want?
Look, we don't expect you to forgive our attitude. We good.
Your attitude was prone, prostrated, prostituted.
All right, call it whatever you like.
Listen, I've got a lot on my mind, so please, just get to the point and tell me what you want.
Doctor, you should have told us what was at the back of it all. You could have the messenger behind you all the way.
You'd have had the public opinion with you now. Why didn't you tell us?
Look,
I'm very tired, so please don't beat around the bush.
He's been all over town buying up stock. It's no secret anymore.
Well, what about it?
You don't want me to spell it out, do you?
I certainly wish that you...
All right. Ms. Laxon, do you want to?
no, go ahead.
Doctor, in the beginning we supported you. We couldn't go on supporting you because in simple language, we didn't have the money to withstand a loss in circulation. You're boycotted now, well, the paper would have been boycotted too if we stuck with you.
You can see that.
Oh, yes, but what do you want?
The People's Messenger can put on such a campaign that in 2 months, you'll be hailed a hero in this town.
We're ready to go.
You'll prove to the public that you had to buy up the stock because the management wouldn't make the changes necessary for the public health. In other words, Doctor, you did it for absolutely scientific, public-spirited reasons. What do you say, Doctor?
You want money from me, is that it?
Well, no,
No,
Doctor.
don't walk around it. Doctor, if we started to support you again, we'd lose circulation for a while. We'd like you, or Mr. Keel, rather, to make up the deficit. Now that's open and above board, and I don't see anything wrong with it. Do you?
Remember, Doctor, you need the paper. You need it desperately.
No, I understand. It's just... I did all the verses to clean up my name. I wrote for myself that never was dirty. I don't enjoy being hated, if you know what I mean.
Exactly.
Laxton, show him
Well,
what.
just a minute. There is one point. I hate to keep repeating myself, but the water is...
Now,
poison.
Doctor!
Just a minute! The The mayor says he will levy a new tax on everybody in order to pay for the reconstruction. Now, I assume you're going to support that at the same time you're supporting me?
That tax would be extremely unpopular.
With you back in charge of the Bats as medical officer, I have absolutely no doubt that anything can go wrong.
Your words, you want me to remain in charge of that corruption.
But we cannot tackle everything at once. A new tax, there'd be an uproar.
It would ruin the paper.
So you don't intend to do anything about the
I
water?
have faith that you won't let anyone get sick.
In other words, gentlemen, you are looking for someone to blackmail into paying your printing bill.
You're trying to clear your name, Dr. Stockman. And if you are going to cooperate, if this is going to be your attitude,
Yes? Go on, what will you do?
I think we better go.
What will you do? I would like you to tell me. Me, the man 2 minutes ago that you were going to make into a hero. What will you do now that I won't pay you?
Doctor, the public is almost hysterical.
To my face, tell me what you are going to do.
The mayor will prosecute you for conspiracy to destroy the corporation, and without a paper behind you, you will end up in prison.
And you'll support him, won't you? I want this from your mouth, Hofstede. This little victory you will not deny me. Tell the hero, Hofstede. You're going to go on crucifying the hero, are you not? Say it to me. You will not leave here until I get this from your mouth!
Doctor,
You are a madman. You are insane with egotism. Don't excuse it with humanitarian slogans, because a man who will drag his family through a lifetime of disgrace is a demon in his heart. You hear me? A demon who cares more about the purity of a public bath than the lives of his wife and children. Dr. Stockman, you deserve everything you're going to get.
Doctor, please reconsider. It won't take much money and too much time to change your life.
What happened? My God, what's the matter? Something happened. Look at him.
Oh, wait, it's nothing.
What happened?
Nothing, Papa, I swear.
What happened? Why aren't you boys in school?
The teacher said we better stay home for the rest of the day.
The boys hit him?
They started calling you names, and so he got sore and he started fighting with one of the kids, and then all of a sudden the whole bunch of them jumped on him.
Why did you answer?
We called him a traitor. My father is no traitor. But you didn't have to answer.
He could have killed you.
I don't care.
Morgan.
I'll kill him. I'll take a rock, and the next time I see one of them, I'll kill him. Let me go.
Morgan.
Let me go. They called you a traitor, an enemy.
That's all. Go wash your face. Good day, gentlemen.
Let us know what you'll decide.
I've decided. I am an enemy of the people.
Tom, what are you saying?
To such people who teach their own children to think with their fists, to them I am an enemy. My boy. My boys. My family. To them you can count us all enemies.
Doctor, you could have everything you want.
Except the truth. I could have everything except that. The water is poisoned.
Should be in
The
charge.
children are poisoned. The people are poisoned. If the only way I can remain a friend to the people is to remain in charge of that corruption, then I'm an enemy. The water is poison, poison, poisoned. That's the beginning of it, and that's the end of it. Now get out of here.
Know where you're going to end.
I said get out of here!
Where are you now? You're out of your mind.
What are you doing?
They want me to buy the paper, the public, the pollution of the springs, the whole pollution of this town. They'll make me a hero out for that, but I am not a hero. I am an enemy, and you'll be the first people gonna demand where you come. I will sharpen my pen like a dagger. You, all you friends of the people, are going to bleed before I'm done. Go, sign the petition. Warn them not to call me when they're sick. Beat up my children and never let her in the school again, or else she'll destroy the immaculate purity of the vacuum there. See to the barricades, ring the bell, sound the alarm! The truth is out, and soon it will be prowling like a lion in the streets. You're out of your mind! Out of here! And that all the ambassadors of hell today, no more. Now listen, Catherine, listen. Children, listen. We are besieged. They will call for blood now. They will whip the people like oxen. Stay away from there!
The captain knows where we can get a ship.
No ships.
We're staying?
With the boys, I can't let them go back to school.
We're staying.
Good.
Now listen, boys. We must live through this. We must be careful now. Boys, no more school. I'm going to teach you, and Petra will. Do you know any other kids? Street mouse, hooky players? Good. We'll need about 12 of them to start. I want them good and ignorant and completely uncivilized. Can we use your house, Captain?
Sure, I'm never here anyway.
Fine. Begin, Petra, and we'll turn out not taxpayers and newspaper subscribers, but free and independent people who are hungry for the truth. Oh, I forgot. Petra, run to Grandpa and tell him. Tell him as follows. No.
What does that mean?
It means that we are all alone, and it will be a long night before it's day. You are fighting for the truth, and that is why you are alone. That is what makes you strong. We are the strongest people in the world. And the strong must learn to be lonely.